Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on Macbeth, and today we get to hear from Hecat in Act 3, Scene 5, but yesterday we were just in Act 3, Scene 2, so there's a lot that we need to go over. So, things that have happened: Macbeth killed Duncan and has now put out a hit on Banquo and his son Fleance because Banquo is suspicious of Macbeth because he was there when the prophecies were shared, and he thinks that Macbeth probably killed the king, and Macbeth doesn't want Banquo to tell people that he had killed the king, so he sent some murderers after Banquo and his son Fleance, who were out riding. So, Act 3, Scene 3, we have the murderers, and now suddenly there's a third murderer, and they do actually call it out. They're like, wait a second, who sent you? And then he's like, Macbeth did. And they happen upon Banquo and his son Fleance, and they come upon them, and they're able to kill Banquo, but Fleance escapes before they can kill him. And they're like, well, I guess one's better than none. Let's go back and tell Macbeth. So Act 3, Scene 4, oh my goodness, there's so much in this scene. This is the dinner that Banquo was supposed to come back in time for, and we see Macbeth, and he's greeting all the other guests, and Lady Macbeth is there, and then the murderer, one of the murderers, shows up at the door, and Macbeth is like, you can't come in here, there's blood all over your face. And he's like, yeah, it's Banquo's, because I killed him, I stabbed him like 37 bajillion times. And Macbeth's like, sweet, what about Fleance? And the guy's like, he got away. And Macbeth is like, crap, because now he's still like equally scared, and he's like, this is terrible, this is no good, you gotta go take care of this, and blah blah, and I have to go entertain some guests. And by the time Macbeth gets back to the table, he sees the ghost of Banquo sitting in his chair, and it flips him out, and he is not at all subtle about the fact that he's flipping out, and he starts yelling at this ghost that nobody else can see, and they're all like, are you okay, are you okay? And Lady Macbeth is like, oh, this is just it's a thing that he does, he gets the vapors, or whatever, and she tries to pass it off, and she like pulls him out of the room. She's like, get yourself together, man. And he's like, you can't believe what I just saw. And she's like, I don't care what you just saw. You have a room full of guests in there. You got to get back in there and like calm down. And during this bit, the ghost leaves. So Macbeth can go back in, and he's like, all right, I guess we got to like have a toast to all of the things that have happened. And the ghost comes back again. So we have two visits from the same ghost at the same dinner. And Macbeth is the only one who can see him. And once again, he is not at all subtle about yelling at the ghost. And he's like, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. And finally, not only does the ghost leave, but Lady Macbeth sort of like puts she calls the evening. She's like, all right, it's time for everybody to go to bed, because he's obviously very tired. And yeah, so everybody get out of here and leave. And the two of them get a brief moment before the scene is over, and she's just like, pull yourself together. And he's like, things are not good. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna see the witches, and I'm gonna see what else they have to say, because I need more advice on how to live my life. Because at this point, he's gone from the beginning of the play not believing in the witches at all to being like full on camped out outside the tarot card readers place, not able to make any life decisions until the witches tell him to do that. So he's like, tomorrow I'm going to go back and I'm going to see the witches again, and they are going to tell me what's going on and what to do. And that's the end of Act 3, Scene 4. So today we are in Act 3, Scene 5, which fortunately the majority of this scene is the monologue that we're going to hear today. We're going to hear it from Hecat, and Hecat is she's like the queen of the witches, and she comes in, and along with the three witches who we already know, and one of the witches like, you look like you're kind of angry, maybe. And Hecat says, have I not reason, beldams, as you are, saucy and overbold? How did you dare to trade and traffic with Macbeth in riddles and affairs of death? And I, the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of all harms, was never called to bear my part or show the glory of our art. And which is worse, all you have done hath been but for a wayward son, spiteful and wrathful, who, as others do, loves for his own ends, not for you. But make amends now. Get you gone, and at the pit of Acheron meet me in the morning. Thither he will come to know his destiny. Your vessels and your spells provide, your charms and everything beside. I am for the air. This night I'll spend unto a dismal and a fatal end. Great business must be wrought ere noon. Upon the corner of the moon there hangs a vaporous drop, profound. I'll catch it ere it comes to ground, and that, distilled by magic sleights, shall raise such artificial sprites as by the strength of their illusion shall draw him on to his confusion. He shall spurn fate, scorn death, and bear his hopes above wisdom, grace, and fear. And you all know security is mortal's chiefest enemy. Hark, I am cold. My little spirit sea sits in a foggy cloud and stays for me. Now that last little bit might be a song because apparently she likes to burst into song at any given point, but yeah, whether it is or whether it isn't, it still works. And then at the end of this, they all kind of leave and they're like, all right, plan, break, we're all going to go our separate ways. And that's the end of Act 3, Scene 5. So what is she saying here? First of all, she's angry that the witches were messing around with Macbeth without bringing her in on it because she's the queen of the witches and she could have been in on all this stuff that they were doing for Macbeth. But then secondly, she's like, but it's Macbeth. Like, why are you even wasting your time with him? He's really not worth it. So what we're going to do is tomorrow we're all going to get together at the Pit of Acheron, where he's going to come to seek guidance from us some more, and you're going to bring your spells and you're going to bring your charms and you're going to bring all that stuff. And in preparation for you bringing all that stuff, I'm going to create this potion from like a moon drop that is going to speed things up for him. That'll make him hallucinate even more and draw him on to his fate, and his fate is for him to die, so that Banquo's children can become kings, because that is what has been prophesied. So that's the plan for tomorrow. We're going to do this where I'm finally going to get to participate in the messing with Macbeth bit, and then all the witches go their own way. So tomorrow we're just in Act 3, Scene 6, so we don't have to do the huge recap that we did today, but we're going to find out what else the witches have in store for Macbeth, because we're only about halfway through the play. Yeah, so there's still a bunch to come. Anyway, good fun, and I will see you tomorrow for more. Mwah.